Okay, picking up where we left off, Chav Dalet Amud Aleph, a few lines down by Omar Rav Hamnuna. Before we begin, I wanted to say that I'm learning this Lui Nishmas, my father-in-law, Yaakov ben Chaim Yisrael, whose yahrzeit is this week. It's Sunday night and Monday, Chav Aleph Teves. If you find yourself learning the Amud during that period of time, or at any time during the week, the learning should be Lui Nishmas Yaakov ben Chaim Yisrael. I don't know if there's a charge from the Kollel for doing that, but I guess I will find out. Gemara, Amar Rav Hamnuna, Berei de Rav Yosef. Hamnuna, Berei de Rav Yosef said, Zimnin Chada Have Kamina Kamei de Rava. One time I came before Rava of Amar, and he said, Vamarlin, he said to me, Zil Isi li tefillin. Go get me my tefillin. Now again, we just had finished the Gemara talking about whether a person can keep his tefillin in his bed, and if he could keep it in his bed, where talked about it being kept under the pillow or between the pillow and the mattress. So here he's telling us. Rav Hamnuna Berei Rav Yosef telling us that Rava told him to go get his tefillin. Va'ash kachasinhu bein kar lekeses, and I found it between his pillow and the bedding, like we said in the previous Gemara that's how it's done. Shelo keneged rosho. Again, that was not opposite his head. It's not where his head was resting. So again, that's how the Gemara said that it could be placed. V'havi adina. Also, I knew the Yom Tvila Havi, that it was the day that his wife had gone to the mikvah. And therefore he knew that he had also been with his wife. Muran halacha l'maisa hu David, and he had told me to do this to teach me the halacha l'maisa that you are in fact allowed to keep tefillin in your bed. By Rav Yosef Berei de Rav Nechunya Rav Yehuda. Shnaim sheyeshnim b'mita achas. Two people who are sleeping in the same bed. Mahu. What's the halacha in terms of them being able to say Kriya Shema? Shezeh yachzer panav v'yikra Kriya Shema. Could this one turn and say Kriya Shema facing one direction? V'zeh yachzer panav v'yikra Kriya Shema, and the other person would turn the other way, and he would say Kriya Shema facing the other direction. Samrlei Hachiyam Shmuel. He said this is what Shmuel says. Va'afili ishto imo. Even if his wife is with him, he'd be able to say in the bed. He would be able to say Kriya Shema. So Maskiv Rav Yosef says, Ishto v'lo me'bayachar, you're telling me that his wife, and then you don't need to teach me if it's somebody else, if it's wife is fine, but you don't have to teach me if there's someone else in the bed. Adarabah, it should be the opposite. Ishto kagufo, a woman is like a man's. It's like himself. Ishto kagufo, a woman is like a man's own body. So that's why maybe he can say the Kriya Shema. But acher, maybe there's a different halacha there. So adarabah, ishto kagufo, acher lav kagufo. Someone else is not like his guf. So Meisvei, well, we're going to ask a question from a brisa. Shnaim sheyeshim b'mita achas. If there's two people who are sleeping in a bed, zeh machzir panav v'korei. Brisa tells us that this person should turn one direction and read and say the Kriya Shema. Zeh machzir panav v'korei, and this person should turn and say the Kriya Shema. So we see that we have a brisa that says, that's what you can do. That's what you should do. But Tanya Achrisi, but we have another brisa that tells us just the opposite. If someone's sleeping in bed and he's got his children or people in his house that are lying with him, lying next to him, he cannot read Kriya Shema unless he's got some type of partition that's arranged, that's making some sort of barrier between him and them. He adds if his children with the bnei beso are katanim mutter, then it is mutter. So again, we have a problem here. We have two brisas one telling us that you can't do it, and a second brisa you can say the Kriya Shema with someone else in the bed. And the second brisa is saying it not so simple. It's there are situations where you cannot do it. So Bishlam of Rav Yosef, that would work out well according to Rav Yosef lo kasha. We wouldn't have a kasha ha beishto ha ba'acher. So again, we have two brises. We have Rav Yosef who says that ishto is a case where you could say it, but acher is a case where you would not be able to say it. So we have two brises, one saying that you could say it and one saying that you cannot say it. And again, when I keep saying say it, I'm talking about saying Kriya Shema. So according to Rav Yosef, that would work out well. We have one brisa saying each one of his halachos. But Shmuel Kasha, it's a question because again Shmuel says Ishto. Ishto or Acher, same thing, you'd be able to say it. So according to Shmuel, we have a question. Why do you have a brisa here that says you cannot do it? That you cannot say Kriya Shema. So Amar L'cha Shmuel is going to ask a question to Rav Yosef. Is this any better for you? V'had Tanya, we learned Haya Yasham b'mita uvanav uvnei veso b'mita lo yikra Kriya Shema. That second brisa said that if there are children or people in his house that are in the bed with him, he should not say Kriya Shema unless there's some type of partition that's set up between them. The reason why that's a problem is because according to Rav Yosef, again, Rav Yosef said Ishto, yeah, that's fine. Ishto is fine. You can say Kriya Shema. Now that would go with the first brisa. The first brisa that we quoted says they turn away from each other and say Kriya Shema. So according to Rav Yosef, when we said that this works out well according to Rav Yosef, one brisa can be talking about Ishto and one brisa can be talking about Acher, according to Rav Yosef, that first brisa needs to be talking about Ishto, because that's the brisa where you could say it. And according to Rav Yosef, the second brisa has to be the Acher, because that's the brisa where you said that you can't say the Kriya Shema. Well, Shmuel's question on that is, that second brisa, the facts of that brisa are where you and your family, presumably your wife is included in that, is in the bed with you. And that's the brisa that says that you cannot say Kriya Shema. So how does that work out to you? So this is no better for you, Rav Yosef. So the Gemara goes on and says, Elamai Yislach L'Memer. So what are we going to say? Ishto Rav Yosef Tanaihi, L'didi Nami Tanaihi. So according to Rav Yosef, he'll say by Ishto it's a machlokas Tanaim, and he holds like one Tana. I too, Rav Yosef also will say it's a machlokas Tanaim, and he holds like one Tana as well. Amar Mar says, Zeh machzir panav v'kari Kriya Shema. So we're breaking down this case, a little bit. We said that a person can turn and read Kriya Shema v'ha ika agvos, but we have a question. What about the fact that the person's behind is exposed? That's presumably, we're saying that that's an erva. Is that not a problem, that the agvos, that the person's behind is exposed? So Asayle le Rav Huna. So we're saying that the fact that it's not a problem, that's going to be a proof to Rav Huna. Why? Rav Huna says agvos ein bahen mushum erva. That agvos, a person's behind, is not does not have an issue in terms of erva. Does not fall into that category of erva. Aleim Asayle Rav Huna. We want to maybe perhaps also bring another proof to Rav Huna again, who holds agvos is not a problem in terms of erva. From this case, a woman who's sitting and she is separating chala while she is undressed, she is naked. She's able to do that because she's able to cover her erva on the ground. Avalo ha'ish, but a man is not so. He wouldn't be able to separate chala because he cannot cover his erva on the ground. So we see that the equation of agvos, of behind, doesn't come into this discussion. So obviously that could be a proof to Rav Huna, again, who says that agvos are not a problem of erva. And we see that the only difference that we have in this case is between male and female. And agvos doesn't register into the equation. Tergma Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says that's not a good proof. The way he interprets the case is Kigon Shayu Paneh Tuchos Bekarka, that she was sitting on the ground, and the ground was covering her behind. So in that case, the agvos never even comes into the equation for us to make any type of determination of this, to show that this is any type of proof to Rav Huna. All right, pass weiter after the two dots. Amar Mar says im hayu banav v'nei beso ketanim mutter. Again, breaking down those cases the brises that we had mentioned before. That if he's in bed with sons or people from his house, if they're ketanim, that it was mutter, that he would be able to say Kriya Shema. Vad kama, how old is that? Katanim. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says tinokus if it's talking about girls. Bashlosh shanim v'yom echad. It's 3 years old in one day. V'tinok if it's a boy. Ben tesh shanim v'yom echad. It's 9 years in one day. Yikadamri and those who say tinokus that it's talking about a girl. Bas yud alf shana v'yom echad. That it's 11 years in one day. V'tinok if it's a boy. Ben shteim esrei shana v'yom echad. It's 12 years in one day. ID in either case, really what they're trying to get to is ad kedei shadayim nechono v'sharcha tzemach. That it's we're talking about when they begin to mature. Shadayim nechono is when the breasts start forming, or usharcha tzemach where they start sprouting hair. So again, it's just a reference to the maturation process, and once that happens or begins to happen, saying Kriya Shema in front of them becomes problematic if they're unclothed. Amar le Rav Kahana le Rav Ashi. Rav Kahana says Rav Ashi Hasam Amar Rava Afal Gav Tiyuvta de Shmuel Halachas Kavasi de Shmuel. The previous brisa, when we were talking about whether you can keep tefillin in a person's bed, we had said even though there is a brisa that is a disproof to Shmuel, we still said the halacha is like Shmuel. So Hachamai, here we just brought down a case before we had the machlokas of Shmuel and Rav Yosef. So we're saying is the halacha still like Shmuel in this case, even though we have potentially a brisa that's a disproof to him. So Amrle said to him, Atukula b'chada machta machtinhu, is everything woven with one thread? Ela hechid itmar itmar, hechid lo itmar lo itmar. In cases where we say the halacha is like him, so the halacha will be like him. And the cases when we say the halacha is not like him, the halacha is not like him. Just because we hold the halacha is like him in one case doesn't mean you hold like him in every case. Amrle Rav Mari Rav Papa. Shar Yotze Bivigdo Mahu. Question is, if a person's pubic hair, if it comes out and it is now outside and is on his beged, is actually on his clothing, Mahu, what would be the halacha? Is that a problem in terms of there being maybe some type of exposure to an erva? So Kara Leha, he responds to him, Shar. Don't worry about it. It's just the hair. It's not an issue. Amar Rav Yitzchak. Rav Yitzchak says tefach b'isha erva. One tefach by a woman is erva. Lamai. What are we referring to? If we're talking about looking at or staring at a woman, or looking at a woman, v'hamar Rav Sheshis. Rav Sheshis almost already told us. Lama mana akasav tachshitim shebechutz im tachshitim shebifnim. Why does the pasuk, when it's talking about the spoils of Midian, it groups the jewelry that is worn on the exterior of a woman? It groups it with the jewelry that's worn on the interior or by the erva of a woman. So why Rav Shesha says why were those grouped together? Lomer Lacha, to tell you, Kol hamistakel be'etzba ketana shel isha, anyone who looks at even the pinky of a woman, ki'ilu mistakel b'makom hatorf. So it's like they're looking at the oso hamakom, that part of that erva of a woman, if the purpose of doing those is to get some type of pleasure or satisfaction from looking at the woman. So we see that. This concept of tefach b'isha erva cannot be that Rav Yitzchak had said cannot be a reference to looking at a woman because of what Rav Sheshes brought down. So Ella. So what's it? What's the reference? What's Rav Yitzchak referencing? What's he saying when he says tefach b'isha erva? So he says Ella. It is b'ishto ula kriya shema. It's talking about your wife when you want to say Kriya Shema. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said Shok b'isha erva, that the thigh of a woman or some part of the leg of a woman is considered erva. Shnamar, because the pasuk says Gali Shok Avri Naharos, that you revealed your shok, your thigh, when you're crossing the Nahar, the river. V'ksiv, and the next pasuk says Tagal ervascha v'gam tira cherpascha. The next pasuk afterwards says that you revealed your ervascha. We see that there's a reference that shok now is called an erva. V'gam tira cherpascha, and your embarrassment has also been revealed. Amar Shmuel. Shmuel says kol b'isha erva, that a woman's voice is also considered erva. Shnamar, because it says ki kolcha erev, that this is in Shir Hashirim. It says that your voice. Her voice is sweet, Umar Chanos, and her appearance is pleasant. She's pretty. Amar Rav Shesha says, Se'er be'isha erva, the woman's hair is erva. Shneimar, also in Shir Shirma, says, Se'ercha ke'eder ha'izim, that her hair is like a flock of goats. So I guess you can take from here, if you want to compliment a woman's shaitel, you can say, your hair looks like a flock of goats. Well, if you're going to try that compliment, let me know how that works out for you. Amar Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina says, Ani reisi as Rebbe shetala tefillin. I saw that Rebbe, he would hang his tefillin. Meisvei. I have a question. Hatola tefillin yitlu lo chayav. Person who hangs his tefillin, his life should be hung. Dorshe chamur is the people who dorish difficult psukim. Amru, they say v'hayu chayecha tluyim lach mineged, when it says that your life that your life will be hanging opposite you. That pasuk, so that's a reference to Zeh Tola Tefillin. That's referring to people who hang tefillin. So this obviously, what's going on here? That he said he saw Rebbe that he hung tefillin. So lo kash, that's not a question. One is talking about that your life is hanging. Is hanging because you've done it. That's talking about if you hang it by the straps. But Rebbe, he would hang it with the bottom on the top by the peg. Be by same if you want to say lo shna ritzu lo shna ketzitza aser, that if you want to say that actually it makes any type of hanging is bad, whether it's the straps or whether it's the bottom, you can't do any of them are aser. And v'chi tala, and when are we talking about that v'chi tala Rebbe? What are we talking about when we say that Rebbe hung his tefillin? B'kisa tala, that he hung it in its sack, in its pouch. Ihachi ma'ila meimer, if that's the case, if he hung it in the pouch, what are you telling me? There's nothing wrong with that. So ma'odetema tivoi hanacha k'sefer Torah. I might have thought that you might have to treat tefillin or hang tefillin or place down tefillin like you put down a sefer Torah. So kamash malan, no, you can even hang it in a pouch. Last line of Chav Dal Amud Aleph. Avamar Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina said, Ani ra'isi es Rebbe. I saw Rebbe when he would daven Shemon Esrei shegihak. He would belch ufihak, and he would yawn unis atesh, sneeze v'rak, and he would spit. Moving on to Chav Dal Amud Beis. Big dough, and he would move around his clothing if there was lice in the clothing. So he would do all these things during Shemon Esrei. Avalohaya misatef, but he would not. If his talus fell off of his shoulders, he would not pick it up and rewrap himself with it. And when he would yawn, hayamaniach yado al santarav, he would cover his mouth. Guess a little bit of a cliffhanger, because that's where I'm going to end, or I'm told to end. The Gemara will go on and kind of elaborate and go further into this. Middah Lazim. Have a great week.